Welcome, brave souls, to a thrilling journey into the unknown. Today I'm inviting you to join me as we delve deep into the terrifying world of the paranormal. In this video, we'll tell a true, bone-chilling story that will have you questioning the boundaries of the supernatural. Prepare to be both horrified and enthralled by Chasing Shadows, the haunting of Lockwood High. But be warned, this is not for the faint of heart. So, if you dare, let's embark on this terrifying journey together.
I had always been a shy soul, plagued by a constant fear of the abyss that lay beyond the veil of reality. Darkness and isolation seemed to hold a sinister allure, perhaps a result of my incessant consumption of eldritch tales and cosmic horrors. Or perhaps it was the whispered tales of my grandmother, tales of ancient specters and nameless monstrosities lurking at the edge of human understanding. One chilly autumn evening, my morbid fascination with the unknown would lead me down a nightmarish path, a path forever etched in the annals of my nightmares. It was a moonless Friday night, and I had lingered in the deserted halls of academia, ensnared in a group project that held me captive until the midnight chimes rang their mournful tune. With our work done, I made the fateful decision to begin my journey home. The school corridor at the witching hour was a frightening abyss. The dim, flickering light of decaying fluorescent bulbs cast grotesque shadows on the ashen lockers that lined the corridor. Every footstep echoed with an eerie cadence, adding to the oppressive loneliness that enveloped me. My grip on my rucksack tightened as if it were my only anchor in this abyss, my heart already a prisoner of its own unsettling rhythm. I arrived at the crossroads where the corridor forked, one path leading to the exit and the other to the dilapidated, long-abandoned wing of the school, a wing forever tainted by whispers of the supernatural. Older students had regaled me with tales of unexplained sounds, lights dancing erratically and voices carried on the desolate breeze. Normally, I would avert my gaze and hurry past this cursed crossroads, but on this night, curiosity overcame my apprehension. As I approached the threshold of the forbidden wing, a bone-chilling gust of wind hit me, sending shivers down my spine. I felt compelled to take a look inside. The corridor within was bathed in a dim, sickly glow, and a palpable chill hung in the air. Silence, pregnant with an unearthly dread, hung heavily around me. With hesitant steps, I ventured further into the deserted passage, my footsteps now muffled by the decaying carpet below. Every step I took echoed in my ears like a funeral dirge. The feeling of being scrutinized, of unseen eyes staring down at me, refused to let up. I swallowed the lump in my throat, my mouth parched and constricted. Just as I was contemplating a hasty retreat, I saw it, the shape, a fleeting and elusive ghost, skulking at the edge of my vision. My heart leapt into my throat and I froze, wrestling with the reality of what I had witnessed. Logic insisted it was a trick of the fading light, or a manifestation of my overactive imagination, but primal instinct screamed otherwise. With trembling resolve, I made my way along the corridor, my eyes scanning for any sign of movement. Then I heard it, the faint, echoing cadence of footsteps coming from behind me. It was as if someone or something was tracking my every move. My breath quickened and sweat gathered on my forehead. I turned on my heel, but the corridor remained barren. There was only the long, dimly lit passageway and the unshakable feeling of an unrelenting gaze upon me. I quickened my pace, trying to distance myself from the unseen pursuer. But the footsteps continued, relentless and closer. Panic gripped me, and I began to run, the soles of my trainers squeaking on the dirty floor. The footsteps mirrored my every movement, coming closer with each passing second. I could not make out the identity of my pursuer, but his malevolent presence weighed heavily on me, an ominous specter at my heels. I rounded another corner, my heart pounding in my chest, and at last I saw it, the exit door. It beckoned like a beacon of salvation amidst the Stygian void. I pushed myself to the limit, running as if the very fabric of my existence hung in the balance, for in that fateful moment it did indeed feel as if it did. I reached the door and burst through it, slamming it shut behind me with every ounce of strength I could muster. I leaned against the door, gasping for breath, my heart still a tempest within me. The corridor beyond was silent, devoid of the malevolent presence that had stalked me relentlessly. Never before had fear gripped me with such unrelenting intensity. The unknown had taken me in its clutches, a terror beyond mortal comprehension. I was now a living testament to the haunting tales that had once been whispered in hushed tones. These legends were no longer mere folklore. They were a chilling reality, a harrowing ordeal that I had experienced firsthand. Little did I know that this harrowing encounter was only the prologue to a series of mysterious events that would haunt my nights and shatter my faith in the rational world. The fear of the unknown, that unwelcome companion, lingered in the shadows, ready to strike when least expected. With each passing night, I became increasingly aware of a chilling truth: certain mysteries were destined to remain unsolved, shrouded in the eerie darkness that enveloped them. After my harrowing sojourn in the cursed realm of the abandoned wing of Lockwood High, I struggled to dismiss the disturbing encounter as a mere figment of my imagination, conjured up by the eerie atmosphere that enveloped the deserted corridor. But the nagging feeling that all was not well would not go away. Each night, as I sought solace in the sanctuary of my bed, the spectral cadence of those haunting footsteps echoed in the recesses of my mind. My slumber was plagued by restless awakenings, drenched in cold sweat, as I became convinced that faint whispers and subtle shuffling noises were dancing on the periphery of my bedroom door. The fear of the unknown had woven itself into the fabric of my being, an inescapable specter. One gloomy evening, as I tried to distract myself with the monotony of homework, an eerie change in the atmosphere of the room unfolded before my senses. The room grew colder, and a disquieting uneasiness settled in my gut. My eyes darted nervously, anticipating the ethereal specter lurking in the shadows. My eyes came to rest on the mirror, its surface dimly lit by the faint glow of my desk lamp. For a fleeting moment, I saw a sight that stopped my heart. In the mirror's reflection, a spectral figure, faint and insubstantial, loomed ominously behind me, shrouded by the encroaching darkness. My blood ran cold as I slowly turned to face the apparition, but as I spun around, the room revealed nothing but emptiness, devoid of any presence but my own. I rubbed my eyes, trying to dismiss the ghost as a product of fatigue and the incessant fear that gripped me. It was, I convinced myself, a manifestation born of stress and sleep deprivation. Night after night, however, the disturbing phenomena persisted. The feeling of an unseen observer became my inescapable companion, and elusive movements flickered at the corners of my vision, only to vanish when I tried to confront them. The whispers, though unintelligible, grew in intensity, their eerie murmur more pronounced. Desperate for answers, I sought the advice of my confidant and dearest friend, Sarah, a paragon of rationality and composure. She listened intently to my plight, her brow furrowed with growing concern. "Perhaps it's all a figment of your imagination," she suggested. "We are susceptible to tricks of the mind when we are gripped by fear. Stress can conjure visions and echoes where none exist." I nodded, longing to accept her logical explanation, but a disquieting awareness remained. This was no mere flight of fancy. It was something far more malignant, a presence that defied easy dismissal. One fateful night, as I lay in my bed, imprisoned by sleeplessness, the footsteps returned, echoing unmistakably from the corridor beyond my chamber. My heart raced and I clutched the covers tightly around me, trapped by fear. The door to my room creaked open, an icy intrusion, and I held my breath, fixated on the threshold. A shadowy specter materialized in the doorway, its form obscured by the enveloping darkness. It lingered there, an ominous observer, scrutinizing my every tremor. I lay paralyzed, unable to move or speak. Then, as abruptly as it had appeared, the apparition retreated, disappearing into the Stygian corridor. The footsteps receded, grew fainter until they disappeared altogether. It was as if whatever had invaded my sanctuary had lost interest and given up its pursuit. Tears welled in my eyes as I gathered the strength to call for help. "Sarah," I cried, my voice shaking. "Sarah, please, you have to believe me." Sarah burst into my chamber, her face a mixture of concern and confusion. "What has happened? Are you unharmed?" I recounted the terrifying encounter, my voice shaking with the weight of fear. Sarah listened intently, her face darkening with each memory. She decided to keep vigil that night, unwavering in her resolve to stand by me through this ordeal. As the days stretched into weeks, Sarah and I embarked on a quest to unravel the mystery of my existence. We delved into the annals of Lockwood High's history and the abandoned wing in search of answers to the haunting specter that had entangled my life. What we unearthed sent shivers down our spines. The wing had been sealed off decades ago, marred by a series of unexplained occurrences, including the disappearance of a guardian and numerous reports of eerie phenomena. It became unmistakable that the fear of the unknown that besieged me was inextricably linked to a terrifying history that refused to remain hidden. Determined to uncover the truth, regardless of the horrors it might reveal, we embarked on a perilous journey to confront the malevolent entity that had ensnared my life. Little did we know that our quest for answers would lead us into deeper, more shadowy realms, where the boundaries between the physical and the otherworldly would become blurred, and the terror of the unknown would take on an even graver, more nightmarish form. Sarah and I could no longer ignore the ominous history that shrouded the abandoned wing of Lockwood High. Armed with our meticulously gathered research and an unwavering determination to uncover the truth, we embarked on a perilous expedition into the heart of the darkness that had cast its suffocating pall over my life. In the cold light of day, the old wing of the school appeared even more sinister. Our cautious footsteps echoed through the oppressive silence that hung like a shroud. The air itself seemed to thicken with a palpable sense of unease, as if the walls themselves held the harrowing secrets of a tragic past. As we ventured deeper, we stumbled upon a long-forgotten storeroom, its contents obscured by layers of dust and neglect. Within its confines, we uncovered a cache of dilapidated documents, their faded ink revealing a gruesome chronicle. These records recounted the grim events that had led to the wing's closure, chilling accounts of apparitions and disappearances of students and staff. The more we delved into these macabre tales, the clearer it became that the malevolent force haunting these hallowed halls was not a recent creation, but an ancient malevolence. Our investigation continued, our resolve unbroken. Sarah, ever the voice of reason, suggested the use of surveillance equipment, cameras, and audio recorders to capture tangible evidence of the spectral manifestations that had tormented us. The task ahead was daunting, but we clung to the hope that this empirical approach might shed light on the fear of the unknown that had plagued our lives. On the first night of our surveillance, we huddled in my room, fixated on the live feed from the cameras. Hours passed in silence, and we began to question the very existence of the malevolent entity that had been tormenting us. It was at the brink of our skepticism that the footage revealed the corridor outside my chamber. A palpable chill ran through the corridor, and the faint murmur of ghostly whispers echoed through the ether. Suddenly the figure materialized again, its shadowy silhouette traversing the dimly lit passage. A terrifying specter, we watched in stunned silence as it advanced towards my room, its presence now irrefutably manifest. The fear of the unknown was no longer an abstract concept, it materialized before us, casting its ominous shadow. As the figure approached my chamber door, it stopped, as if aware of our presence. Its face turned towards the camera, its eyes devoid of life, mere abysmal voids fixed on us. A chilling fear tightened in our hearts, as if the malevolent force had crossed the boundary between the supernatural and our realm. In an instant, the figure disappeared from the screen, leaving us in a state of paralyzing terror. It was clear that confronting this malevolent presence was far more dangerous than we had ever imagined. The fear of the unknown had been transformed into a tangible, repulsive reality that now threatened our very existence. With a heightened sense of urgency, Sarah and I sought the expertise of Dr. Elizabeth Turner, a seasoned authority in the field of paranormal phenomena. Dr. Turner arrived, equipped with an array of specialized instruments and a team of experienced investigators. Together we embarked on a treacherous sojourn into the heart of the cursed wing, determined to confront the malevolent entity that had ensnared my life. As we crossed the threshold into the Stygian heart of darkness, the ambient temperature plummeted and the air became thick with a suffocating malevolence. Dr. Turner's team busily arranged their equipment as we formed a circle, clasping hands in preparation for the seance that would bridge the gap between the living and the spectral. The room seemed to awaken with an unnatural vitality, and an eerie voice pierced the silence, telling tales of torment and anguish, a restless spirit trapped in the desolation of the abandoned wing, yearning for release. She wove a harrowing tale of a student's tragic death in mysterious circumstances and vowed to protect the wing from intruders. With tremendous effort, Dr. Turner managed to connect with the tormented spirit, offering comfort and absolution. Gradually, the oppressive presence began to dissipate, replaced by an aura of calm that enveloped the abandoned wing. The malevolent entity that had haunted me for so long was finally at peace. As the fear of the unknown left Lockwood High, I felt the weight of terror lift from my shoulders. The malevolence that had ensnared my existence was vanquished, and the abandoned wing was transformed from a place of dread to one of closure, healing, and redemption. The fear of the unknown had led me on a harrowing expedition into the realms of the supernatural, but it had also taught me a profound lesson: the importance of facing our deepest fears and seeking the truth, regardless of its darkness or discomfort. Ultimately, it was the power of understanding and compassion that exorcised the malevolent force, proving that even in the face of the most terrifying unknown, hope endures.
As our journey through the dark draws to a close, remember that the fear of the unknown can lurk in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to keep up to date with more terrifying stories and paranormal investigations. And if you have your own creepy encounters or stories to share, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Until next time, stay vigilant and never stop pursuing the truth, no matter how frightening it may be. This is Horror Haven signing off.